Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 5 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that not only do we know that this film is going to have a lot of connections to the prequels and the originals, but it's also going to use a lot of elements from the EU, also known as Star Wars Legends, in order to really create a very original and unique story for The Rise of Skywalker to conclude the sequel trilogy in a very unique and satisfying way. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things become a little bit worrisome for the character of Lando Calrissian in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the sequences that were filmed involved a sequence between Daisy Ridley, Lupita Nyong'o, and Billy D. Williams, where it's described that Rey, Maz Kanata, and Lando Calrissian are in a quick debate on what they should do for the next attack on the First Order headquarters. It said that one of the sequences is said to involve a moment where Lando makes a bold choice to pilot the Falcon into the docking bay of the First Order headquarters, where it said that they need to take down one of 3 towers of the First Order. It said that at one point in time, Lando boards the Falcon and heads for the hangar bay to destroy a majority of the First Order's forces, where as Lando is making his way out, a large explosion occurs that is said to transition to a scene of confusion for Poe, Finn, Rey, and Maz Kanata, where Chewbacca is also described to witness what just happened. It said that eventually the Falcon is seen in the sky, with fire on top of its surface where it makes a crash landing, as our heroes rush to Lando's aid. The Falcon is still said to be in one piece, however there is fire on top and it's mysterious as to the fate of Lando Calrissian. So this by far is a big hint and or indicator of the death of Lando Calrissian in The Rise of Skywalker, which I think is something that's going to be the last thing that Star Wars fans want to hear about, right? The thing is this, we already lost Luke, we already lost Han, we're most likely going to lose Leia if they really want to go down that route, which I hope they don't because, you know, Carrie Fisher is a great actress and she passed away in real life, so I feel like that they do have to honor her character in some way, shape, or form, where she's able to walk off into the sunset kind of ending. As far as Lando Calrissian goes, this without a doubt seems like a blaze of glory moment for him, where he takes the Falcon, makes a bold choice, goes on his own, and travels into the First Order headquarters, into the hangar bay, and as he's making his way out, there's a large explosion. Now notice how this is a direct parallel of what Lando did on board of the Death Star 2, where he's inside the core of the Death Star and he's making his way out and there's a lot of fire behind him, and he just barely makes it out of there. Now in this scenario, it leaves you wondering as to what happened to the Falcon in the moment, and it's actually said to be a gotcha moment because there's a state of confusion for Rey, Finn, Poe, Maz Kanata, and even Chewbacca on the battlefield of the First Order, where eventually they witness the Falcon actually making it out of the hangar bay of the First Order headquarters, where one of the towers are indeed destroyed for this sequence. But, however, it comes at a price where the Falcon is said to have a fire on top of its surface, where it crash lands into the middle of the battlefield. Now, this is all said to take place before Chewbacca gets hit by one of the blaster rifles by one of the Sith troopers, where he gets injured and is dragged on board of the Falcon. So I'm left to wonder here exactly what's really going on with the character of Lando, whether or not this means he's going to die in this big moment right here, or if he's going to make it out of the Falcon alive. And I'm just hoping that the Falcon itself stays in one piece at the very end of this movie. Yes, I do know that this is the end of the Skywalker saga, and yes, I do know that the new Star Wars trilogy is going to have nothing to do with the characters that we are all so connected to. So they could really do whatever they want at the end of this trilogy if you think about it. However, I think to really satisfy the fans, they should really keep the Falcon in one piece, which I don't think that this is major damage. It's actually described that it's in one piece, but Lando is still inside and it crash lands pretty hard, and there's a fire on top of the surface of the ship. So it leaves the fans wondering as to what happens to Lando Calrissian as our heroes are rushing to Lando's aid. Now, this is all said to take place in the middle of the First Order battlefield. We have the large First Order headquarters, which is actually now said to be and consist of 3 different towers, one of which is a large hangar bay that actually holds a majority of the First Order's forces, which Lando was able to destroy from what it seems, or at least most of it, and making his way out of there just barely, giving us, yes, once again, a parallel to that of Return of the Jedi. So, what do I think about this sequence? What really happened to Lando Calrissian? I think that there's a great chance, I think it's a 50-50 shot here, that he's either dead in this sequence or he's going to make it out alive. You know, it seems like that there's a running pattern here in the sequel trilogy. You know, in The Force Awakens, like I said, we lost Han. In The Last Jedi, we lost Luke. And now in Episode 9, since originally they planned to have Leia be the prominent figure before she passed away, Carrie Fisher, they planned for her to play a major role in this movie, as opposed to what they can work with right now for the reshoots and for the reused footage of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, etc. So Lando Calrissian, one of my favorite characters in pop culture, I will say, not just Star Wars, but in pop culture. I hope he really makes it out alive, and I'm just hoping that this actually does not mean it's the end of Lando Calrissian in the moment. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.